How do you get back going and keep your focus?
It's tough. I don't know, you just got to stay in the game, especially coming from the C feature. You got another one to go, so it's not tough. You just got to keep your head focused, staying out there.
All right, we'll see you in the B.
Thank you, guys.
Mason Kiefer, guys.
Yeah, guys, so big points move right there for Alex Bright as we look on to qualifier race number 2.
Brenham Crouch going to start on the pole of this with Bradley Hewish on the front row with him. Lights are out quickly. You've got Thomas Konsman, Jake Nail. They were your top point scorers. Garrett Twitty, Mason Hannigan, Josh Marsham, Zach Gorski, Caden Utesh, Derek McBride, Barron Silva, Spencer Hill, Kevin Reed, and Austin Torgerson in this one. That's Crouch to the early lead with a car length and building down the back straightaway. Sitting in the second position is Konsman, the ace out of Pennsylvania. Goes to the high side of 1 and 2. Going to cost him, although he got a great run off the high side to kind of rebound and hold the spot. Jake Nail in third.
That's
Twitty. Fourth is Twitty.
Twitty making a really good drive here, looking to get underneath Nail off turn 2. Looks like he's going to. We got one slowing down the backstretch. That is going to bring out a yellow flag.
Caution. No, actually, we stay green. Can he get up off racetrack? He cannot. So now the yellow flag comes out as that car came to a stop just in front of the pit run. And that's Hewish's 5.
Yeah.
Hewish started second, so is in the invert. That's chains off. You can see it right there.
You can see it spinning.
That's going to be the end of his run at the A main for now.
That might put him from knocking on the door of an A main to deep in a B somewhere, as we're going to get an update from Chris Wilner, who's got our qualifier number 1 winner.
Yeah, quickly here with Alex Bright. Boy, these qualifiers are certainly racy, but outside in move, you were pretty patient at the start, and then you just took off from them.
Yeah, it's all about finishing these races too, so I wanted to keep a clean nose, and no, this Redondo trucking and excavating Hyper Lyman Eva number 20 was on rails out there. Logan on the wrenches, he's giving me a good car all week, and we'll see if we can keep it rolling. But I knew that was going to be a tough one with Seabell in there, Benson, and Barnaby, but it looked like we had a good enough car to beat all of them.
We'll see you Saturday.
Sounds good.
All right, Alex Bright. And one thing to note, too, as well, guys, there was some pushing and shoving there between the Bobby Elliott and Brandon Rose teams, some of that contact we saw in the qualifier. So both sides were able to separate, but some pushing and shoving for sure.
I thought I heard voices raised in the background a bit ago.
Jake Nail and Thomas Konsman battle for second. Nail was the high point of this group coming in. Konsman trying to take it back from him on the bottom of the raceway, side by side for second, with Twitty trying to get involved in the 4th spot. Konsman over Nail. Twitty working with Gorski in behind him for 4th and 5th. Konsman goes to the high side of 1 and 2. Nail down low. They're both a ways back from Brenham Crouch, who's led
yellow.
every lap. You're correct. Yellow lights flash around the River Spirit Expo Center and Expo Raceway. Barron Silva the wrong way off the corner. Silva was running 13th at the time, so dead last, and we'll restart. Well, dead last.
So we
finally into race number 200. We are into the back third of the events here at the Tulsa Shootout, 36th annual Tulsa Shootout, bridging 2020 into 2021. Happy New Year. Caleb Hart, Clinton Boyles, and Scotty Cook in the booth as Crouch has led all 5 so far of this second qualifier for the Outlaw Non-Wing Division.
Second of 8 coming up for the Outlaw Non-Wing Division, and then the Little Tykes get into their opportunities and crack at some more, accumulating more passing points in their qualifiers. Boy, it's always fun to watch those Little Tykes. The electricity amps up when they get to the bottom of the ramp, and bottom of the ramp, speaking of, down on the Tulsa Expo Raceway. Race number 200 is back underway in a battle for the lead, turn 1.
Pass for the lead. Konsman sets up Crouch nicely, slides him in 3 and 4. Thomas Konsman's got the lead. Jake Nail trying to pick up a position and match him tit for tat. He will get up into second. Will Nail.
Hello, Will.
Well, Brendan Crouch did not want to see that yellow flag as he lost 2 positions and a ton of track space that he was enjoying previous to it. Now Gorski's working from 5th, and Gorski looking for 3rd on Crouch. Crouch coming back after Nail trying to recover a little bit.
Gorski started 8th on the field. That'd be a really good run on points for him.
That was a big old slider right there.
Oh, Crouch, man, set that thing hard as Gorski now in fighting and looking to take the spot away from Nail.
Whale of a battle we're seeing on the speedway right now.
Crouch is, I think, a little over that line, you know, the line right between control and out of it.
Oh.
As cars together at the very end. Finishing order is Konsman, Nail, and Crouch, Gorski, and Twitty.
Race 200 proved to be quite entertaining, boys.
Yeah, guys, and we can kind of figure out points very, very unofficially as we go here. But Jake Nail being 2nd in points, running up to 2nd. That one should give him high point guy and on the pole as of now, per calculations in my own head, completely unofficial.
We're racers, math is not our deal, but...
Boy, you look forward, boys, to qualifier number 3. You talk about loaded and stacked. Man, this ought to be entertaining coming up. You got Emerson Axom and KTJ, Kevin Thomas Jr. starting from the front row. Colin White, Quentin Benson, the cue ball. In the second row, Kenny Miller III, Brady Bacon in row number 3. Austin Sanders, Tyler Edwards, row 4. Tyler Walton out of Mifflintown, Pennsylvania. Chris Hinkle making up row number 5. Row 6 to the inside, Ethan Wicker, Curtis Jones. And on the final row will be Isaiah Garcia alongside of Ayrton Jeniton. So with that, they will be rolling down off the ramp momentarily. I think I see the skid loader out there, and we called that out. It's about that time to drop that lip.
And it's about time to send things up to the top of the ramp where Chris Wilner should be talking with Thomas Konsman.
2nd qualifier winner, Thomas Konsman. Boy, the intensity certainly heats up here in these qualifiers. That big bomb there that got the lead, and then you just pulled away. How was that one for you?
Yeah, you know, I kept messing up there in 1 and 2, and I knew I was a little bit better on those restarts, and I had to get a good, clean start through 1 and 2 there and get a run them on the backstretch, and then do that bomb on them, and just try not to make any more mistakes and not look back.
It's hard to run that cushion too as well. Talk about that ledge, man.
Yeah, you know, 1 and 2 was definitely a little tricky today. 3 and 4 was all right, but once I got our front there, just went to bottom 1 and 2, so I didn't make any stupid mistakes, and just like I said, just tried to hold my line and keep her going.
Solid points too as well from row number 2. We'll see you Saturday.
Yep, thank you.
Thomas Konsman, your qualifier number 2 winner here in the Outlaw Non-Wing.
So I was talking a little bit about it towards the tail end of that race, Clinton. We'll go to Brian here in just a second and get his thoughts on what he's seeing, what they just did to the racetrack. But Crouch, when he gets past, almost looked like he broke his rhythm and then got into try-hard mode.
Yeah, you know, he got a little bit desperate there and really made one, you know, we saw one big slide job there, and it didn't quite work out for him. That broke his momentum even more, and tried to make one more last-ditch effort there at the end. You know, almost just got to fall in line at that point and you know, regather your thoughts after you get past for the lead and try and mount a calculated charge. You don't want to lose more positions like he did, and that's even more valuable points. You know, he was right on the invert bubble coming into these qualifiers, so going backwards was something that you can't really afford to have in that one, and a little desperation there from a young driver, and that's just, you know, kind of a experience maturity thing. I think you even saw Christopher Bell kind of make some bad decisions throughout that race, and you know, somebody like Christopher Bell's allowed to make some mistakes, so is Brendan Crouch.
You know, on that note, you don't see Christopher Bell on this speedway or this racetrack, no matter what kind of race car he's in. You typically don't see him searching, and that's what we saw the last time out on the track. He was searching. Kelly Westfall from Joplin, Missouri, as well as Higginsville, Missouri's Man of Steel, Austin Allenbaugh, enjoying flow coverage. I believe Chris Wilner topside.
Actually, it's
Brian
trackside
Ward
to Brian.
trackside. I apologize.
Yeah, guys, I'll plug this in real quick so you can get back to your lineup. Before these cars rolled out on the track, Martin Edwards did get on the skid steer with the bucket. He rolled out almost 3 full bucket loads of this play, knocked it down all through turns 1 and 2. So we can expect to see it a little bit different. The cars might be able to go a little bit higher in 1 and 2, send it in a little bit deeper.
The pile of dirt, formerly known as the cushion.
Well, we gave you your lineup. You know the players. Let's see how it plays out. Green flag out on this one. Axom and KTJ on the front row.
Brady Bacon got a really good start in the Hink Motorsports 21. He has won a driller. Flying those colors in that building. Howley Fair here in race number 201 for your Outlaw non-wing. We shall see.
Axom looking good out in front of this one. Thomas Jr. second. Colin White in the third position. And Kenny Miller the third is running fourth. He's had a good shootout here. Quentin Benson, who was the high point guy coming into this, has faded backwards a little bit in the early going.
KTJ holding a nice wheel, working on that. Oh, he over-rotated there a little bit and lost ground on your leader as White gets into him a bit. Now a battle for that second spot, Clinty.
Colin White was starting on the inside of row number 2 and has now moved up to second. However, it might not hold. We're going to go back to the last completed lap, I think.
Yeah, we should there. KT should get a spot back.
Man.
Curtis Jones, the shootout veteran, around in the bottom of turn number 4. So Thomas Jr. is going to get the lucky dog a little bit there. He'll get back into second, be right on the back of Emerson Axom when we restart. Axom leads, Thomas Jr. second, White third. Kenny Miller fourth, Brady Bacon 5, Quentin Benson, just like Christopher Bell, started fourth and is now back into the 6th position.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of these guys make some mistakes here. You know, your high point guys that you don't expect that from. Cue ball on the start, went into the cushion of 1 and 2, got tied up over the cushion, allowed a few cars to sneak by. So it's just these one mistake early in this race penalizes you through the rest of the race.
The cushion that does not exist as they just took it away.
Oh, it's still there. There's still that hard moisture patch there that'll still throw your front end on you.
Behind Benson, Tyler Edwards, Austin Saunders, Chris Hinkle, Tyler Walton, Ayrton Jennett, and Isaiah Garcia, Ethan Wicker, and Curtis Jones. Green flag back out.
Look at Brady sending it up to the top.
Yeah, cue ball with some adjustment down to the low side. Still got a really good battle.
Yeah, Thomas Jr. just a little snug up on the cushion in 3 and 4, and he's going to go to the bottom of 1 and 2 and make an adjustment.
Young Ayrton Jennington from the back of the field out of Versailles, Missouri, looking to crack the top 5 right now, running 6th from the back of the field.
Race leader, Emerson Axom. You're watching the race between 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th as Brady Bacon to the inside on Kenny Miller. Miller given no quarter as he'll hold off Brady down on the bottom.
Boy, strong stance there as Brady tried to kick the door open, but nothing happened.
Sometimes you're given a spot, sometimes you just go to try to take one, and Kenny Miller did not give it up. Miller trying to roll back in on White as we have one more time around here. Axom, Thomas Jr., White, and Miller, 1 through 4. Bacon, Ben Benson, and Tyler Edwards as the checkered flag is out. And other than a couple of guys going a little backwards, not a ton of movement there. Emerson Axom wins from the pole.
KTJ follows him home with that 2nd spot. Thanks for correcting me, Clint. That scoring and timing threw me off a little bit there. You're like, I don't think so.
So the rest of the lineup, so 1 through 5, Axom, Thomas Jr., White, Miller, Bacon, then it's Benson, Edwards, Walton, Jennington ends up in the 7th spot, ends up in the 8th spot. And behind them, I just lost the loop, so you can go find out more if you want to see the results on the official live timing and scoring app, the Tulsa Shootout, My Race Pass.
Meanwhile, Ron Dennis, Bryant Wiedemann will make up the front row of race number 202, qualifier number 4, Maverick Elkins. Jonathan Beeson, the legend, out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, been around this place a million times. Brock Barrett, Ryan Mueller, Sean Mahaffey, Brad Sutton, row 4, Brian Carver, Colton Hardy, row 5, Max Mitry, Aiden Salisbury in row number 6, and on the final row, Caleb Martin, Colby Sokol. We just saw him at the top of the ramp for a winner's interview. Time to hop in the other mount and let her eat. Here we go.
Ron Dennis, if you could say he's got his preferred starting spot, you'd be spot on as he's down on the bottom and leading this race out of turn number 2.
Yeah, that was Wiedemann with the chop on. Oh, that's your lead, or your high point guy in this qualifier. Beeson upside down.
Yeah, 2 cars upside down. One of them, Beeson.
Sutton and Mueller.
Boy.
4 cars involved.
A lot of cars going for the same real estate.
Yeah, there's 4 cars.
We'll get a look at the replay as they got into the corner. You can see Beeson. He's in the blue and black car. He's the one who went climbing Up and over Caleb Martin.
Yeah, Beeson got into the back end, and that turned him on around, and then he climbed up onto his left side Nerf bar. Is that what I saw?
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think Beeson might be able to keep going here.
I think so. He just kind of...
He's going to be a little bit towed out.
If that, maybe. Uh-oh. That's not cool.
That's just a little smoke.
Just a...
Yeah, you just have some fluids leak down into where they're not supposed to be, so you fire off, it'll smoke a little bit. No, nothing wrong. He's going to go to the work area and get it checked out. Smart move by him.
Action. Looks like Brian Ward's on hand. He can give us an update on what's happening down there.
Yeah, guys, you have kind of called it. 3 of these cars are going to refire. Elkins gets the worst of it there with the rear end all in pieces. The Jacobs ladders broke. The right rear torsion arms broke. That axle is cocked all the way up. I couldn't get a close enough look to see what all was wrong with it, but he's going off on the hook. The other 3 cars are going to rejoin the field.
If you just summed it up as he got munched, you'd probably be accurate.
It was a Big Mac sandwich right there in turn 4. A wad of 4 race cars.
Well, that'll make a really significant alteration to this lineup. Take 4 guys right out of like 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th-ish, as we will go upstairs to Chris Wilner, who has another qualifier winner with him.
Thank you so much, Caleb. Yeah, Emerson Axom, real quick. I know the stock class didn't go your way, but boy, this has to feel good to get a qualifier win.
Oh yeah, I feel like we've been super fast in both our cars. It's just we had a little bit of bad luck and kind of drew bad, so it put us in a bad position in the qualifier. So hopefully that puts us in the show, and I think we have one of the fastest cars here. So if we get in, we'll be all right. So
all right, good luck the rest of the day.
Thank you,
Emerson Axom.
So we've seen a lot of our higher point guys kind of fall back a position or two. We've seen some of our lower point guys maintain where they're at. That's going to make a really, really tight points battle here after these qualifiers to get locked into this feature. I mean, so far I'm pretty comfortable in saying that Jake Nail is going to be locked in, Alex Bright's going to be locked in, Thomas Kuzman's locked in, but those are the only 3 that I really feel super comfortable at this point saying they're in.
Axom as a bubble boy at this point in time with everything that's happened, I think he's more solid than what he was.
Yeah, Axom, man, I don't know. I don't
It's a long way to come, right?
So we had 32 in the invert, so he had to be about 28th, 30th in points coming into this, so he had a big gain to make. Should be like 29th in points coming into this.
25.
25?
Multiples of 8, right? So your 1st and 9th place would have been in that. Your 17th and 25th would have been in that. So yeah, he would have been 25th, or which heat was he in? He was just in this last one? 26, 27?
Either way, we're back green on the racetrack. Weed him into the high side again, trying to make a run on Ron Dennis. That's going to be Brock Barrett on the low side.
Oh, contact down on the hub there at turn 4 for that 4th spot.
Mahaffey with the half spin into the side of Carver. Carver usually has a launch down the straightaway. That's Weedham is still working the high side, trying to get around Ron Dennis for your lead.
Excellent battle, 1 and 2. Dennis on the bottom, Weedman up on the high side. Barrett 3, Carver 4. You can see all of them in your picture down the back stretch. Weedman, boy, really backed that car hard into the corner, trying to make a very long straightaway. Gets into 1 and 2. He was in the middle. Dennis shoots off the bottom and actually extends a little.
Carver's reeling these guys in, running 4th as well.
Yeah, I like this line from Wiedemann where he's kind of cheating the entry into 1, driving across and not really banging it off the curb a whole lot. You just got to make a little more momentum here through 3 and 4. There's a little mistake from Dennis. Caution's going to come out.
Not going to matter on the pass you just saw for 3rd on Carver on Barrett, as we've got a car stopped, and that is the 2.
2M of Max Mitri stopped. I believe that's over there in turn 2.
All right, so here's your math, Clinton, right?
Yep.
So in the first heat race, you had starters 1, 9, 17, and 25, right? So if Batterby is number 25 in points coming into that, that means Crouch is 26 and Axom is 27 coming into that, right?
So to go
he's
from 20,
outside
27 to top 16, I believe it is kind of a tough feat there.
With some guys losing points though.
Yeah, that's what I say. It's going to be
it's going to be interesting.
Close. Very close.
Right. You looked at this one, our third and fourth place starters in this one, who would have been, what, 4th and 12th coming in or somewhere in there,
yep,
right?
Yep.
Both, Elkins out, Beeson all the way to the back of the field already. So every time somebody's losing points and going backwards, one of those guys on the outside has a better shot of getting in.
Yeah, so we're shaping up to have a great points battle here in your outlaw non-wing division at the end of these qualifiers. There's going to be a lot of people waiting on points to get released to see if they're in or out.
Ron Dennis leads, Bryant Wiedemann second, Brock Barrett third, Brian Carver 4. Max Mitry was in the 5th position, by the way. So now Sean Mahaffey 5, Caleb Martin 6, Aiden Salisbury 7, Brad Sutton and Jonathan Beeson. Attrition in this race.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a lot of these races, it seems like, is a huge lead right there for Ron Dennis.
Dennis had a monster restart. Now Wiedemann has to scramble, and Wiedemann's gone to the bottom of 1 and 2 rather than kind of cheating the entry and coming in through the middle.
Yeah, Carver trying to make a bid for the 3rd place on Barrett. Barrett bikes up on the curve. That's going to allow Mahaffey to try and sneak underneath him.
Carver not done. Carver is right up on Wiedemann looking for position. Wiedemann's got to get down to block as Carver has made all of his moves down the low side of the speedway here. Brian Carver going forward. Good run for the 41.
Boy, these East Coast boys right now are laying it to him in the outlaw non-wing division qualifiers as Carver's going to try and run down Ron Dennis. He's only have 2 more laps to do it.
Yeah, no, Dennis is not going to get off the bottom, and Carver already adjusting to take a look at the top of 1 and 2 as you're looking at just a freight train of cars around the low side of the 1st and 2nd corners.
Yeah, don't look now, but here comes Wiedemann on Carver for that 2nd position. Carver to the high side. Wiedemann follows along. The lane change is going to come here in turns 3 and 4.
Checkered flag's coming out, though. This one is over, and Ron Dennis does his job in the qualifier. He'll win it from the pole. 2nd, Carver, good run for him. Wiedemann in the 3rd spot. Barrett and Beeson recovered all the way back up to 5th. So Beeson might have salvaged something there.
Boy.
Mahaffey, Martin, Salisbury, Sutton, Sokol, Mitry, Mueller, Hardy, and Elkins.
Carver from 9th to 3rd, or 2nd, excuse me. That's a huge points run for him that would have been a high point guy or right at high point guy after heat races. So picking up a lot of points there as we move on to qualifier number 5.
It's Jason McDougal and Thad Bennett making up the front row. Brendan Bright and Andy Bishop in row number 2. Mason Caswell and Danny Carroll in row number 3. Jacob Lucas and Kyle Jones in row